In this lesson, we're going to look at absolute value. Our objectives are to understand what absolute value is, to understand how to determine numbers with a given absolute value. Our vocabulary is absolute value. The distance a number is from zero. So we first want to look at the basics of absolute value. Absolute value is represented by these two tall lines around the number. When you draw these, you need to make sure that they're a little bit excessively long so you don't mistake them for ones, especially when you're talking about basic integers like 3 and 0 here. So the absolute value of 3 is asking how far is 3 from 0? And when you look at a distance, you're not worried about the direction you go. If you go running for a mile, it doesn't matter if you run north, south, east, or west, you ran a mile. So we're really just focused on how far is that number. Well, 3 is a distance of 3 from 0. The distance 0 is from 0, well, they're the same number. We didn't go anywhere. Then we have the absolute value of -1/4. It doesn't matter that we went negative. All that matters is that we went 1 1/4 of a distance. So our distance is 1 1/4. Our next one here is the absolute value of -8 5/100. So this one again is looking for a distance. We want to know how far we went. The direction doesn't matter. So the distance here is 8.05. Now if you look at these four answers, if you notice, none of them are negative numbers. Absolute value is never negative. It's always positive. We never measure a distance as negative. No one grows -4 inches. They grow positively. So distances are always positive. So absolute values are always positive. So now we want to take this a little bit more abstract. We want to figure out, okay, what number or numbers have a distance of 9 from 0? Well, the obvious thing is 9 is 9 from 0. So x can be 9. The less obvious one is -9 is also 9 from 0. The reason for this is, if I have two people start at a point and I tell them both to run 9 miles, does it matter if one goes east and one goes west? Well, if you think of east as positive and west as negative, there are two directions. We've got a +9 and a -9. Here we're looking at y and we're saying, okay, what number or numbers is 1.3 from 0? So our possible y's, if you haven't caught on yet, well, we've got 1.3 is 1.3 from 0, but it doesn't matter the direction we go. So -1.3 would also work. Now the tricky one is one like this. This is saying, what number is -6/5 from 0? Well, we talked about the distance is never negative. So because this has a negative distance here, what we say is there are no answers. We have no way of finding this because there are no absolute values that are negative. Here they're asking you, okay, what's the absolute value that gives us a negative number? Well, there are none. It doesn't matter that this has a number -6/5. Absolute values cannot be negative. Alright, so for absolute values, if there's any questions or things you didn't get, you can always rewatch the video or you can bring your questions to class. Thank you.